So in this video, we'll be building this project with the vanilla Three.js and GSAP. So let me demonstrate how this works. So if I scroll down, the model makes an animation and there's this sliding animation. Same for the next section and the last section. And if I hit explore, it brings it in the center and I can actually play around with the model if I want to. And I hit close to close it, and then if I hit buy, this is what happens. Okay, so this is what we'll be building in this project. Hope you guys enjoy. Let's get started. So to start off, I'll fire my terminal, cd into dev and cd again to yt, and here I'll create my v tab. So it is npm create vt at latest, and you can give the project name as alienware. I'll give it as alienware yt. We'll be using vanilla javascript. JavaScript again. I'll cd into alienware, and then I'll open my VS Code from here. Okay, I'll just resize this. That's fine. Okay. So fine. So I'll open my terminal in VS Code. I'll install all the dependencies, and once that's been done, I'll open the tailwind docs for Vite. So for Vite, install tailwind CSS for Vite. Okay, so that's done. Scroll down. We need, as we've already created the project, we don't need these two lines. Let's copy these two lines, paste it here, and again I'll copy these 4 lines, and in here, once this is done, we'll have a config file. I'll just, why is the resize not working? Yeah, fine. So now we have our tailwind config CSS. Paste it here, save that, copy these 3 lines. Now go to style.css, paste it right here, paste. I'll just run the server, npm run dev, and let's go to this localhost 5173, and this is, let me just check what went. Okay, I remove all the stylings. So to check whether things are working, I'll go to index.html, I'll go to main.js, I'll clear all this out, I'll go to count. We don't need this file, counter.js, I'll delete that as well. Then I'll go to index here, and in here let me just create an h1 tag saying hello. Okay, hello, that works as well. Class text red 500, and this, okay, refresh it. Okay, good thing we checked. I'll just run the server again, and just, okay, so apparently we went wrong somewhere. Just check index.html, sarc, just comment this out. Things should be working. For some reason, same file, index.html, style.css is done. I'll just import the styles as well here. So link style sheet, So style.css. I think this is the problem. Okay, yeah, so now it's working. We just had to import the style sheet. Okay, cool. Next we'll need a package. So again we'll need another package. So npm i3, we'll be using Three.js, so npm i3 and GSAP. Yeah, I think that's all we need. Yeah, so with that's done. Now what I wanted to do is I've linked a gist file to this main.js file here. So this will give us the starter code to start Three.js. If I scroll down, I want you to head over to that gist file and copy this file main.js. And if you've not already watched my previous video on how to get started with Three.js, I'll highly suggest that. I go over what all this means in that video. So I'll save this, and then I want you to copy this style.css as well. So copy all of this. These are just some basic styles which you'll be using. Replace that with this, and yeah, I think we are done. We can then npm run dev. Should be getting a blank. Okay, there's one more configuration which must be done, which is go back to canvas. I'll uncomment this out this time. Oops. And this as well, and instead of this we'll be needing, we don't need h1 actually here. So in here, canvas tag, and give it a class of WebGL. Oh yeah, there's another dependency which we'll be needing, which is npm i lil GUI. This is basically a debugging tool for Three.js. Helps making debugging easy. I'll refresh that. I'll run the server again. Okay, so we've got our empty renderer here. As you can see, if I go back here, I'll close this. Yeah, as you can see here, we are selecting canvas.webgl, and there we are placing our renderer, Three.js renderer. Yeah, WebGL renderer, this one. Again, if you've not seen the previous video on how to get started with Three.js, I highly suggest that one. Watch that and then come here back. Okay, so with that, we've done all the initial startup code for Three.js. Then what I want you to do is go to the GitHub repo down below, which I've provided. I'll just copy this public folder. This has all our assets. So I'll delete that, and then I paste it here. Copy folder. Okay, so with that, we have all our assets which we'll be using. Some memes, the logo, the laptop GLB file itself, an mp3, and an environment map. Okay, so with that, the initial configuration for our Three.js is done, and we can get started with the actual implementation. So we'll start by actually bringing the model to the canvas. So I'll just close all this which is not needed, and right under, let's say, scenes, actually just close all this so that's easier for me to scroll. The camera. Okay, yeah, before that, let me explain what this GUI does. So GUI is a debugging tool for Three.js. So basically, you initialize it, you bring it in here by importing everything as that, and you create an object called GUI. And if you want to add parameters to it, what you do is put GUI.add, and if say you want the camera positions, you put camera.position and the parameter. So camera.position gives us x, y and z, so we give x, y and z, and in there we can specify a minimum value which is -50 and max value 50. That's what I've done here. Step is basically each the increments it has, and next is set value. So when we initially load it, it should start with 1.825 and the name, which is camera x. All of it is mentioned here. And this is basically GUI.close is when we refresh the page. I mean, when we start the project, this is in a collapsed form rather than the expanded form. Okay, enough of the debugging tool. Next, let's bring in the model. So to bring our model, we'll be importing GLTF loader from 3 examples JSM/loaders/GLTF loader, and then right under, let's say, scene, you can use that. So const GLTF loader, no, actually this will be GLTF loader, and we can say new, create an object. So new 3.gltf loader. So we've created an object and we'll be using a load method on it. So gltf loader dot load, and then you give the path. So in our case the path is laptop2.glb, which is just under public folder. So I'll just mention that. So laptop2.glb, and you can give a callback function. This will take a parameter called gltf, and you could just say scene dot add gltf dot scene. If I save that, should be getting something. Refresh it, nothing. Okay, let's check what we're. Let me console log this out, see whether we are bringing in the model. So gltf dot scene. I'll open my DevTools, the console, and we messed something up. Rather, I messed something up. So yeah, so this is not. It doesn't come from 3. It's just new gltf loader. Save that. Refresh it again, and again I messed up with the path. So if it's in the public folder, you don't have to mention public, you just can put ./laptop2.glb. You get something now? Still nothing. Fetch request. Okay, let me just check the name. laptop2.glb. Now we should be getting something. Okay, good, we got something in here. As you can see, we have something in here. And yeah, to enable orbit controls, if I go down in here, yours should be false. Just make it to true and go to style.css, and in there I want you to comment out this pointer events none. Just comment that out, save it, and you'll be able to use orbit controls. Next, let's fix the lighting in here. So in order to fix the lighting, if I go on top, and yeah, always comment, because it tends to get a little bit messy. So model, it'll be easier for others to understand what you're typing in. So environment, I will be using something called cube texture loader. This basically loads the surrounding for you. So cube texture loader, new 3.cube texture loader, and then we'll have to give it something. So environment map, we'll call it environment map, and cube texture loader dot load. We use the load method again, and this basically takes in an array, which is again /environment map /px.jpg. This basically comes from here. Okay, in here environment maps, there are a bunch. Cube texture loader basically takes 6 images, and it basically renders out the same environment. So if I go back here, I'll copy this 6 times, 3, 4, 5, 6. So first is px, then it's nx, next is py, next let's give it ny, pz, nz. We save it and nothing happens because you will have to mention scene dot background environment map. Now you can see we have a laptop and the background as well, but in this project we won't be needing the background. We'll be using our own the HTML, so I'll just comment that out. I'll actually keep it so that you can see this at least some lighting in here. Okay, so as you can see, our laptop is still black. There's no lighting to it, so in order to fix that, we'll have to actually update the materials in here. So in order to do that, just above, or rather just below the environment, I'll say update all materials. So the lighting of the environment should match the lighting which should be given to the materials of the laptop. That's what we'll be doing here. So update materials, const update all materials. This will be a function, and we can say scene dot traverse. So this will basically everything in the scene, we traverse through it, and this will take callback function, and we give it a callback function. Okay, that fixes all the bracket issues. Then if the child is an instance of Three.mesh, and I'll explain what this is shortly, and child dot material is instance of Three.mesh standard material. Mesh standard material, where is it? Mesh standard material, yeah, mesh standard material. Only then I want you to say child dot material dot env map will be environment map, and the child material, I'll save this for now and see what we get. Okay, we get nothing. So because we have to actually, this function we are not calling it anywhere, so when we are loading the gltf loader, I want you to also call this function update all materials. Let's see what happens now. Okay, so we get some light in here, but just to perfect to fix the lighting even more, you can actually change the intensity of the light. So we will do that next. Child dot material dot env map intensity. This will give us the intensity. So if I say something like 3, it should be very bright. Yeah, now it's way too bright. So to fix that, let's go and say 1.75. I played around with this value and I found this to work best. So now we get this, and still you can see that there's a difference in the lighting compared to the initial project which I showed you. So to fix that, what we can do is go to environment map. Where was our environment? Yeah, on top here. So in here, let me actually remove the, no, I'll keep the background and just say environment map dot encoding 3.sRGB encoding, and you'll have to go, when you're changing the encoding here, you'll have to go to renderer and say renderer dot output encoding is equal to 3.sRGB encoding. If I save that now, you can see the coloring changed on the background and in the laptop as well. It looks a little bit more realistic now. Nice. Okay, so with that, I believe we've done our, okay, yeah, we can also, will create a const called laptop and say null. This is because we'll need to access this model outside this GLTF loader. That's why I'm doing this. So if I say laptop and I'll just remove this, I'll also fix in the position. So laptop dot position dot set, I'll say 0.87. This is basically the XYZ axis values. So 0 in the x-axis, a little down the y-axis, so -0.7, and -1 for the z-axis. I should put it right somewhere around here. So there is something wrong. Okay, yeah, it's because I have to always add it to the scene. Laptop. Still nothing. Probably messed up somewhere again. Laptop gltf.scene should be here. Let me just console log it out. Dev tools, am I getting something? Invalid assignment to const. Okay, yeah, this should not be const, this should be let, as we are changing it. This is why I like TypeScript, by the way. Okay, so we got something in here now. We've changed the position, we'll change the rotation also. So I'll remove the console log. Laptop dot, let's say rotation. Yeah, if you're wondering why I'm not using TypeScript for this project, it's because Three.js is already complicated. I don't want to complicate it even more by using TypeScript. Yeah, that's why we're using vanilla JavaScript for this. So what I'm doing now is I want to rotate it in the y-axis, just half a rotation, not full. So -0.5. If you want a full rotation, you usually say math.pi 180 degrees. I want just half of that, so 0.5 and 0. Okay, so that's good now. So now we don't need the background anymore, so let me just remove that. It looks weird, laptop flying around an alley. So do that, save that, and for the, go to renderer here and just say alpha. This is, I want the renderer to be transparent. So in order to do that, you just mention alpha true. So it gives us the background image, the grayish background image. Okay. So the next, I think we could use GSAP. So now let's move on to the GSAP part. So Before moving on, let's go to index.html and create sections here. So section, I give it an ID of section 1 and a class of relative. I do the same for, I create 4 sections. So section, change the ID, so section 2, section 3 and section 4. If I save that, now we have a scrollable, we can scroll now, because each section, if you go to the style.css, go to section, each section is the height is 100 view height, which basically is this, and the canvas is fixed. So if I go, where was the canvas again? Yeah, WebGL. This canvas, I've fixed it over here. So it doesn't matter where the section, which section it is, the WebGL canvas will always be there. So now we can go to GSAP. So not to use GSAP, we'll have to import GSAP from GSAP, and I also want to import scroll trigger. So when scrolling is being done, I want scroll trigger from GSAP scroll trigger, yeah. And you'll also have to register this. So GSAP dot register plugin scroll trigger, save that. Okay, now in order for us to make the scroll animation, let's go right, and after models, let's say in here I'll just say scroll animation. Okay, so const scroll animation, and it'll be a function. We'll have to initialize something called a timeline. So const tl gsap dot timeline function, and then tl.to. Now the target in our case is the camera position. So to get the camera position, I'll just create a const camera position, which will be camera dot position. Yeah, as we'll be changing the what do you call it, I forgot. As you'll change the position of the camera while we are doing the scrolling. Did I disable the controls? What is controls? No, controls enabled. It should. Okay, it's probably because the z index of the section is over the canvas. That's why you're not able to use the controls. So just to be safe, I'll disable it. So controls dot enabled false. Save that. Fine. Okay, so TL2. So what we'll be targeting is the camera position, and we give it an object basically, which is the x, y, and z. So x will be 0.18, y will be 0.04, and I'll show you how I got these values. Z is equal to 1.95, and the next one is scroll trigger. This will also be an object, and the trigger will be section 2. So I gave an ID of section 2. So section, this works similar to document.query selector. So section 2, trigger, and I want to start the trigger at the top bottom. So what this basically means, when the top of section 2, which is right here, hits the bottom of this viewport. Viewport. So then we mention the end, and it should end at the top of when the top of the section 2 hits the top of the viewport. Top scrub, this is for smooth animation. Next, scrub. So scrub is true, and I don't want to immediately render it. False. If I save everything, I think I lost my model. Can't actually activate the camera before initialization. Okay, that's because I'll put it. Where's my camera? The camera is right here, so I'll just say here, save. Okay, now we get this thing, a laptop, but there's no animation as of now because we'll have to call this function, scroll animation, and we call this animation. If you can guess it, should be in the GLTF loader. So where's my GLTF loader? Here. Update all materials, and just under that create a scroll animation, save it, and if I scroll now, it's doing that animation for us. So now how did I get those values? What I did was basically go to this animate function down here, and in there what I did was I console log out the camera position dot position and saved it. Okay, camera position. Now let's check. Yeah, now I'm getting the camera position. Okay, I don't want to fry my PC, so I basically put in the camera position in here, and I went back here, go to CSS, and I commented out these, save. There should be a better way of doing this, but I was not able to find any. That's why I did it in this way. So I'll just use it, make it to true, save it, and now okay. So basically I just I was console logging out the values. I'll actually show it. Hope I don't fry my PC. Camera position, save it. Over my DevTools, I just positioned the model in such a way where I was happy with, and I just copied out these values. That's how I got those values. So I'll just comment that out and make this to false, and in the index.html I'll uncomment this also. Okay, I'll close that. Okay, everything is slowing down. Fine. Now let me actually I don't want to waste all of your time, so I've already done this for all the other sections. So let me just copy that out. So TL2 binary section, yeah, copy that, paste it right here. I think this is till here. Yeah, I'll just paste it and see what happens. Okay. I save that, and there's an error. Okay, there's no error, but the animation is not being done. I'm getting some 3 dots here. Camera position, yeah, I mean this is Save that. Okay, now we are getting the animation. So all this animation is done. So as you can see here, in the first section, for the first section, I mean this is not the first section, the second section, this is for the second section, I'm changing the camera position and also the position of the laptop. I'm slightly changing it in the y-axis. I bring it down a bit and I bring the camera also out with the z -1. I found that to look the best, so I went with that. So now we got that animation. Next is, so with that I think the GSAP just for the model is done. So for the styling, since this video is just the Three.js part, I don't want to waste a lot of time styling it. So I'll just paste all the styling for this project here. Save that. I should be getting something now. Okay, if I move it like this, and now you can see that animation being made. Okay, so next what we'll do is we'll actually animate this as well. So while I'm scrolling, I want this to come in from the right side and this from the left side, this also from the left side. So we'll do that next. Now to do that, let me go back to our scroll animation here, and if I go to my notes, I have those animations. So for the section 2, given this from to, so this basically what it does is it mentions, like for the section 2, which is this one, you can see the animation actually being made. I'll show it to you. So no, I didn't save it, so fine, no, don't worry about it. So this basically, the from to method of the GSAP basically says, from this value I want you to animate to this. So from -100%, so it is basically outside the viewport, bring it to left 0%, and the opacity should be changing from 0 to 1 with the duration of 1, easing function, again the scroll trigger. So the scroll trigger is section 2, when the section for the section 2, and when the top of the viewport hits the bottom of when the top of the section hits the bottom of this viewport, the first one, and it should end at the top of the viewport when the top of the viewport hits the top of the section. Scrub immediate, smooth animation, and immediate render to false. I'll do the same thing for the rest. So this is for section 2. I'll do next for section 3. So if I go in here, it's basically the same thing. Come down here, and the last one is for section 4. Save that. I'll copy that. I'll save it here. And there is, okay, because of the semicolon, save that. Okay, now let me refresh it just in case, and let's start scrolling. So I'll scroll, and as you can see, this animation is being made. If I keep scrolling, again this comes in from the right side, left side, and from the right side. Okay, cool. So with that, our scrolling part is done. So the final part is probably doing the explore button and the buy button. We'll do that next. So in order to start with the functionality of explore, before that what we'll have to do is we'll have to bring in these, we'll have to select these. So in order to do that, I'll just remove this, change this to DOM elements, and just paste all of that here. So basically what I'm doing is I'm getting the explore button by using a query selector, and the class name is explore button. So if I go to index.html, and in here, down here, as you can see, I've given a class name of explore button, buy button, close button, and a meme, which is an image with an ID of meme. This you won't be able to see because in the style.css I select meme, the opacity is 0, so you cannot see it as of now. We basically do that, we get those values, and after we've gotten those values we can actually use them in here. We can give the listeners now. So explore button, say explore button dot add event listener, it'll be a click, and give a callback function. We can console log, just say clicked, just to see whether it's working. So if I click, it's not working. Can't access lack of render before initialization, canvas is not defined. Okay, probably, yeah, I remove the canvas document dot query selector dot webgl. That should fix it. Okay, now if I click explore, we're getting the logs now. So our listener is working. We can now go with the implementation part. So let me just say canvas dot style dot pointer events, because as of now in the we are not able to use any pointer events because I've given as null in the style.css. So if I go to webgl, the pointer event here is none. I'll actually uncomment that out. Yeah, let's save that. So now the pointer event is none, but when we actually click this, we should be able to use our cursor. This is not computed. This is style. Okay, pointer events, fine. Style pointer events, and canvas again dot style dot the z index, will have to increase it to 1 so that we are able, the section doesn't cover it. We can give an explore animation which is not yet created, comment that out, and we can also enable the controls. So controls dot enabled true. Fine. Next we'll have to create this explore animation, so let's do that now. Just under here I'll create it. So explore animation won't have any parameters, and we can create a timeline now. So const explore tl for timeline, GSAP dot timeline, and now I can start giving the timeline. So explore tl dot 2, and our target is the laptop position, so we want to change the position of the laptop position, and we'll have to mention, we'll also have to give it an x value, a y value, which is -0.7. Again, it took me about 30 minutes just to see which values work the best, so I came down to these values, and the duration is 2.5. So in 2.5 seconds this animation should be done. Okay, and I'll give another, so .2, this time I'll target the explore wrapper, and again I'll have to mention some values. So the opacity will be 0, so this should basically be invisible. Opacity 0, duration let's say 1.5 seconds, and it should have an easing effect of power 4 dot out. Okay, I'm getting a value because of the colon here, and this is because 1.5s is not there. Fine. And the last one would be, I want to target the close button. So as of now, this close button, the opacity is 0. If I go here and go to close button, the opacity is 0. So we'll have to change that. So close button btn, and again the same thing. I'll just copy this out, and instead of 0 I'll give it as 1, and this animation is given additional parameter. So here I'll say what this means shortly. 1 minute. If 2.5, so this basically means before the previous animation, this should start before 2.5 seconds. So if I save that, expand it and hit explore, okay, so this doesn't disappear, but yeah, this disappears. Fine, I'll do it once again. So if I hit explore, this takes some time, but it goes away. I think I could probably decrease the time for this. So explore wrapper, let's just say, so 1 second. I'll just say 1 second. I should get it over with faster. Okay, fine, that works. Okay, with that, the explore part is done. Now we'll do next. Now we'll fix the close explorer. So if I click this, nothing happens. So let me do that now. So I can actually copy this, come down here, I'll say close button. Now the canvas style will be none again. Z index is 0. We'll have a close animation, and controls, will remove the controls, and next we can do the close animation. So I'll copy this, I'll paste it right here, and this will be the same as this, and I'll rename this to close TL, this as well, close TL, and the laptop position will be for this 1, -0.7, and this we can do to -1. Duration is 2.5. Explorer wrapper will be 1 again. Duration, let's see how 1.5 is. Ease fine. Close button again will remove the opacity, 1.5, and the rest is the same. Save that. I'll expand it, hit explore. Okay, there's something wrong. I'll refresh it actually. Explore. Okay, we messed up the values. Let's see. Okay, yeah, it's because I didn't change the explore button to close button. Yeah, now it should work. Save that. Again, TypeScript is OP. It helps us in not making those dumb mistakes. Okay, so our Explorer is working, and if I hit close Explorer, it should disappear, and yeah, this comes back. Now next, the last one is the buy button. We'll do the same thing again. So for the buy button, I can copy this and come down, change this to buy, and this as well to buy, btn, add event. We could say, okay, none of this we need, so this time we'll target the meme. So meme dot style, we'll say index is 1, because if I put it as 0, sorry, z index dot z index to 0, the image doesn't appear, so when I put as 1 it comes up. Next is the by animation, and we don't need any controls this time. Okay. And we can probably do the by animation now. Just copy this, change this to by animation. This will be called by TL. Okay, let's check this now. Laptop position will be 0, -0.7 works, 0.5, duration is 2 seconds, and we'll also change this time the, we'll copy this again. I want to rotate it as well, so laptop dot rotation. So let's say just the Y property, so we don't need none of that. So I want a complete rotation, so mat.pi, so it rotated completely, and this should happen in 5 seconds, and this should happen before the previous animation 2 seconds before the previous animation. Next, the Explorer wrapper will change opacity to 0, duration will keep 1.5, ease fine, and we don't need to, we'll just target the meme now, and opacity to 1, duration to 7. We'll just check how this is for now. Save that. I'll expand this. I'll hit by, and should give us that. This goes away, and our meme comes up. Now the last, I think, is the audio. We'll get the audio as well. So in order for the audio, we could just go in here, say const audio, new audio, and the path is bck.mp3, and I'll say down here audio dot play. Save everything, hit buy, okay, that's fine, that's good. Yeah. So with this, I think we've completed our project for this, and let me just show you what this does. Hopefully this works. Yeah, as you can see, this is the debug. I use this for as well for getting the position, the camera position also. But anyway, refresh it, and one last, let's demonstrate it. So I scroll, this comes from the left, good, that's fine. I can explore. Oh, I didn't actually show you that we could use controls. Then I'll close the Explorer, and if I hit buy, it just works. Okay, that's nice. Okay, so with that, we've finished this project. Hope you derive some value from this. See you next time.